Every human being carries an entire universe within, a reality waiting to be awakened by the sheer force of attention and feeling. When you decide, with absolute conviction, to inhabit the state of your fulfilled desire right now, you initiate a transformation so profound that your external circumstances will inevitably conform. Imagine for a moment that you are already living in the reality you long for. Feel the texture of that life, the warmth of success, the gentle ease of health restored, or the quiet joy of deep connection. As you maintain that inner scene, the invisible threads of consciousness begin weaving your outer world to match the tapestry you painted in your mind. To awaken this inner reality, you must first recognize that your imagination is not a playground for idle thoughts, but the laboratory of creation. Each image you entertain, each sensation you invoke, acts as an experimental variable in this grand workshop of the mind. By deliberately choosing the scene that represents your desire already fulfilled, you subject your entire being, mind, body, and soul to the frequency of that state. It is here, in this self-induced vibration, that true change germinates. You are no longer a passive observer hoping for events to align. You become the conscious architect of your destiny. Let us consider a practical exercise. Find a quiet moment in your day when distractions fall away. Close your eyes and breathe deeply, allowing each breath to carry you deeper into yourself. In this sanctuary of stillness, bring to life the precise circumstances you wish to experience. See the faces around you, hear the laughter, notice the colors and movements. Crucially, feel the emotion that springs naturally from this scene, whether it is relief, excitement, gratitude, or peace. This feeling is the engine that powers your creative act. Without it, the mechanism stalls. With it, you set in motion forces that reshape your entire existence. Many people stare at the blank canvas of their future with uncertainty, unsure of which colors to choose, yet the most vivid masterpieces begin with the bold decision to apply the first stroke, the assumption that you are already more than your present reality suggests. As you persist, maintaining the inner assumption despite outer appearances, a remarkable alchemy occurs. Chances meeting chances, doors opening without effort, and synchronicities orchestrating themselves around you. These are not mere coincidences, but the logical unfolding of a principle. Once you become the consciousness that matches your desire, your environment is compelled to answer. It's important to understand that this process is not governed by time as we normally conceive it. You are not waiting for tomorrow, next month, or next year. You are living in the end now. By doing so, you transcend the limitations of chronological sequence and tap into the timeless realm where cause and effect are simultaneous. In that domain, the end already exists, and your present act of feeling and assumption bridges the gap between what is and what will be. The moment you fully enter that state, without doubt, without reservation, it becomes an unshakable foundation upon which new events will build themselves. Of course, sustaining this inner reality can feel unfamiliar at first, especially when external circumstances seem contradictory. Doubts may whisper, "How can this be when nothing has changed outwardly?" The answer lies in persistence. Each repetition of the inner scene, each act of returning to that assumed state, strengthens the neural pathways in your mind and reprograms your subconscious. This subconscious is like a faithful servant. It responds to the impressions you impress upon it. By repeatedly impressing the feeling of the fulfilled desire, you overwrite old records of fear, lack, or limitation, replacing them with a new script that your life must enact. To deepen this awakening, it helps to anchor your practice with sensory triggers. Perhaps it is a particular piece of music that stirs your heart, a fragrance that evokes calm, certainty, or a physical gesture, a gentle placing of the hand over the heart that signals to your entire system, this is real. Each trigger acts as a potent reminder, snapping you back to the inner reality you have chosen. Over time, these anchors will cultivate an effortless shift, allowing you to step into your assumed state more quickly and with less conscious effort. As you integrate this practice into your daily rhythm, you will notice subtle yet unmistakable shifts, a fresh idea presenting itself, an unanticipated opportunity arriving, or relationships evolving to support your new state of being. These are the hallmarks of your awakened inner reality taking form. Remember, the outer world is nothing but the reflection of what you carry within. When you awaken fully to the power of living in the end, you become the conscious creator of your experience, shaping each moment from the wellspring of your own feeling-filled imagination. This is the essential lesson. Your inner reality, when properly cultivated, is the blueprint for everything you will ever manifest. Close your eyes and take a deep, intentional breath. Feel the air filling your lungs, expanding your chest, and notice how every exhale carries away tension. In this stillness, allow your imagination to rise like a vivid mist, forming the scene you wish to live. See it as clearly as you would witness a cherished memory. Every color, texture, and movement springs to life. Perhaps it is the embrace of perfect health, the face of a loved one radiant with joy, or the sound of applause echoing through a grand hall. As you hold this image, feel the emotions that accompany it. Warmth, relief, exhilaration, coursing through your body. This is not daydreaming, it is an act of creation. In this sanctuary of guided feeling visualization, you are the artist and the clay, shaping not only an inner landscape, but the blueprint of your future. Notice how your heartbeat adjusts to this inner movie. Each thump becomes a drumbeat of manifestation, synchronizing your entire being with the scene you have summoned. Allow your senses to deepen. Perhaps the scent of fresh flowers drifts through the air, or the taste of victory lingers sweet on your tongue. These sensory details anchor the feeling, transforming it from a fleeting thought into an embodied reality. As you replay this guided feeling visualization each day, ideally in the quiet hours between waking and sleep, you impress upon your subconscious a new script. Your inner mind, ever faithful, begins to act upon these impressions, aligning your actions and decisions to support the reality you have rehearsed. Remember, consistency is the heart of this practice. A single vivid session plants the seed, but regular repetition waters it. Choose a time when distractions are minimal, before dawn's first light, or just as evening shadows gather. In those precious moments, your conscious mind is most pliable, most receptive to the currents of imagination. Instruct yourself gently. This is real. I am here. I am feeling this now. Speak it silently with the same conviction you would use to affirm a treasured truth. Feel the shift as your mind accepts the instruction without resistance. Gradually, the boundary between imagination and so-called reality blurs, and you find yourself naturally drawn to opportunities, ideas, and people who reflect the world you envision. If doubts emerge, as they often do, greet them as curious guests rather than unwelcome intruders. Doubt speaks from old programming, from memories of past failures or limitations. Acknowledge its presence, then return to your scene with renewed focus. Let your guided feeling visualization become a refuge, a deliberate retreat where only the truth of your desired state resides. Each return trip strengthens your neural pathways, reinforcing the conviction that this is the way it is. Over time, the subconscious no longer tarries in uncertainty. It embraces the feeling as fact. Your waking life then unfolds as the logical extension of the inner drama you have faithfully performed. To enrich the process, you may incorporate subtle cues that ignite your visualization more swiftly. Perhaps a particular melody stirs emotions that align with your goal, or a soft touch to your chest reminds you of the heartbeat of your desire. These anchors serve as bridges between the ordinary moments of your day and the extraordinary realm of guided feeling. When you encounter these cues, music, scent, gesture, they trigger a micro return to your inner scene, reinforcing the feeling throughout daily activities. Before long, you carry the imagined state with effortless ease, no longer needing a formal session to access the elevated emotion that births manifestation. Notice how, as you deepen your practice, synchronicities begin to thread through your days. You meet someone whose insights propel you forward. An article appears with just the advice you needed. Circumstances shift in subtle yet unmistakable ways, steering you toward the reality you have rehearsed in solitude. These are not random coincidences. They are the unfolding of a principle. The persistent, guided feeling visualization acts like a magnet, drawing experiences into alignment with the frequency of your inner scene. In this educational journey, patience is your steadfast companion. Rome was not built in a day, nor is a new life formed in a single sitting. Yet each session of guided feeling visualization lays a stone in the foundation of your future. Honor the process by dedicating daily time to it, no matter how brief. Even a few minutes practiced with wholehearted attention will yield profound shifts over weeks and months. Before long, you will observe that maintaining the imagined state becomes as natural as breathing. Embrace this practice not as a chore, but as an invitation to play with the raw material of reality. Your guided feeling visualization is the laboratory where you test hypotheses, refine experiments, and witness the results unfold in the physical world. Through this deliberate, sensory-rich rehearsal, you move from wishing to knowing, from hoping to being. The scenes you imagine become the chapters of your lived story. As you continue, you will discover that the greatest masterpiece you can create is the life you already hold in your mind's eye, waiting to be awakened through the power of sustained, embodied feeling. True transformation unfolds when you fully embrace the secret of feeling as the creative engine of your life. It is not enough to merely think or speak your desires. The moment you invest genuine emotion into the vision you hold, you shift from intellectual assent to embodied knowing. Imagine planting a seed in rich soil. Thought alone is like placing a dry seed on top of the earth. It may lie there unnoticed, but when you water it with feeling, when your heart swells with the certainty and joy of the harvest yet to come, you nourish the seed into sprouting. That surge of emotion sends ripples through every cell of your being, awakening dormant capacities and summoning the invisible forces that sculpt reality. To cultivate this state, begin by choosing a single desire and crafting a concise, vivid statement of its fulfillment. Then close your eyes and repeat that statement silently, not as a mantra, but as a heartfelt declaration. Notice how the tone and inflection of your inner voice change when you truly believe the words. As you repeat the affirmation, observe any subtle shifts in your body, a quickening of pulse, a softening of shoulders, a warmth in the chest. These are the physiological signatures of genuine feeling. Rather than dismissing them as mere sensations, honor them as evidence that your consciousness has aligned with the desired state. Next, allow the feeling to deepen by recalling a time when you experienced a similar emotion naturally. If your goal is radiant health, remember a moment when you felt vibrant and alive. If it is financial freedom, recall the exhilaration of receiving an unexpected gift or windfall. Immerse yourself fully in that memory. Hear the sounds, see the sights, and feel the emotion surge through you. Then, gently shift the scene to your present desire, carrying the resonance of that past joy into the imagined future. This bridge between a felt past experience and your current vision creates an unbreakable link in your psyche, convincing your subconscious that the new reality is not foreign but familiar. As you practice, take note of any resistance that arises. Doubt, fear, or impatience are natural companions along this journey. When they surface, pause and extend compassion to yourself. Recognize that these thoughts stem from old conditioning, from records of limitation stored in your subconscious. Without judgment, return your focus to the feeling. You might say silently, I choose to feel the reality of my desire now. and then breathe into the emotion until the resistance softens. Each time you extend kindness to these inner critics, you weaken their grip and reinforce the power of your chosen feeling. Over time, the distinction between imagination and reality begins to blur. You will notice that opportunities appear as if summoned. A conversation leads to a solution, an idea sparks a breakthrough, or a chance encounter opens a new door. These are the fruit of your emotional investment, the natural reward of a consciousness tuned to the frequency of your desire. It is crucial to remember, however, that the outer manifestations are not the true measure of success. The real achievement resides in your ability to maintain the feeling state under all circumstances, to remain anchored in creative certainty even when the world appears unchanged. To strengthen this mastery, integrate small reminders throughout your day. A glance at your reflection in a window can prompt you to breathe and reconnect with the feeling. A simple phrase, delivered with heartfelt conviction, can reignite the emotional spark that keeps the seed of desire alive. These micro practices accumulate like drops of water filling a cup until suddenly the overflow becomes a river of empowered consciousness, carrying you effortlessly toward your goal. Educationally speaking, this process mirrors the principles of emotional conditioning found in cognitive psychology, where repeated pairing of a stimuli, your vision, with a strong emotional response rewires neural pathways. By consciously directing your attention and emotion, you leverage neuroplasticity to embed a new operating system in your mind. You are not at the mercy of random impulses. You become the deliberate engineer of your inner landscape. As your subconscious mind responds to these powerful emotional imprints, it organizes your beliefs, attitudes, and subtly guides your behavior to support the reality you have embraced. This secret of feeling extends beyond personal gain. When held in a communal context, such as a group focused on healing, creativity, or service, the shared emotional commitment amplifies the effect. Collective feeling acts like a tuning fork, synchronizing individual intentions into a coherent field. Whether you work alone or with others, never underestimate the alchemy of shared emotion. Together, hearts aligned in purpose catalyze change on a scale that transcends individual capability. Ultimately, embodying the principle that feeling is the secret demands both discipline and devotion. It is a daily commitment to inhabit the emotional essence of your fulfilled desire, come what may. But as you persevere, you discover that the effort dissolves into joy. The joy of creative participation in the unfolding of your own story. In this way, the secret reveals itself not as an esoteric mystery, but as the most practical tool available. The capacity to feel deeply and deliberately your way into the life you were meant to live. To truly magnify the power of your inner scene, you must intentionally heighten the emotional charge behind it, like turning up the volume on a symphony until every note reverberates through your being. Begin by selecting one element of your desired reality, a gesture, a word, a sensation that resonates most deeply with you. Perhaps it is the touch of joy when you see a long-awaited check in the mail, or the feeling of calm assurance as you stride into a meeting, confident of your success. Focus on that moment and ask yourself, how would my body respond if this were already real? Let curiosity guide you into the subtle shifts of your physiology, the quickening pulse, the soft rush of warmth behind the eyes, the gentle tightening of muscles that heralds excitement. Once you have identified this physical signature, weave in complementary sensory details to deepen the immersion. Light a candle whose flame dances like the spark of new possibilities. Play a piece of music that stirs the exact emotion you seek. Feel the vibration of sound through your chest. Notice the way it lifts your spirit. Perhaps you hold a smooth stone in your hand, its cool surface grounding you as you anchor the feeling. These external cues serve as catalysts, fanning the embers of your inner flame into a roaring blaze of conviction. As you engage in this amplified practice, speak to yourself in the present tense, phrasing your intent as if it is already accomplished. Say, I am experiencing the fulfillment of my desire, and listen to the timbre of those words within your mind. Notice how they land in your ears, how they resonate in your chest. If the language feels flat, experiment with synonyms until the sentence sings with authenticity. The goal is to craft an inner declaration so potent that your subconscious can no longer distinguish it from objective reality. To sustain this heightened state, use repetition wisely. Rather than reciting your scene mindlessly, intersperse periods of vivid reliving with brief pauses of quiet reflection. In those silent interludes, allow the emotional afterglow to settle like honey across your awareness. Then, return to the scene with fresh attention, recharging the feeling. This ebb and flow mimics the natural rhythm of breath, making the exercise feel organic rather than forced. At times, you may encounter an emotional plateau, a moment when the initial thrill subsides and the scene feels familiar. In such cases, introduce a twist that jostles your imagination awake. Add an unexpected detail, the laughter of a new friend, the fragrance of a rare flower, the warmth of sunlight breaking through clouds. These slight variations awaken curiosity, causing your mind to lean forward, hungry to explore the evolving tableau. With each nuance you add, the emotional tone deepens, the resonance grows, and your inner world becomes richer and more convincing. Another powerful technique is to anchor your amplified feeling to a simple physical gesture. Perhaps you gently press your fingertips together or place the palm of your hand over your heart. Each time you perform this gesture, whether during formal practice or in the flow of daily life, you trigger the flood of emotion you cultivated earlier. In effect, you carry your imagined reality with you, ready to invoke it in an instant whenever you choose. Remember that true amplification comes from authenticity. If you approach this exercise with reluctance or skepticism, the power will wane. Instead, cultivate a sense of playful experimentation. Treat each session as a laboratory where you test different variables: lights, sounds, scents, words, observing which